Let's do it. Hey everybody, it's your boy MP, Live Struggle Legacy, and welcome to the Live Struggle Legacy Podcast, Season 3. Now, real quick, if you haven't already done so, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification button, drop a comment. If you have a question for our guest today, start a conversation in the comment section. If you're listening on a streaming platform, please make sure you hit that follow button, that notification bell, download, save, rate us. And if you're looking to promote your business, holler at me because we're looking for sponsors. I have a very special guest in the house tonight. She's a sound healer. She is a advocate for trauma survivors. She's a Reiki practitioner and just an overall dope human being. None other than Alisha Mello.
Hi, my name's Alisha Mello, and I met Michael through a mutual friend named Kalamura. She is absolutely wonderful. And then a second time, randomly, in a park in St. Pete, I didn't actually mean to meet him there because I was at the wrong place with the wrong set of people. And he was just ending his class, but we recognized each other. And so we said, hey, real quick, and then I bounced over to the other thing, and Kalamura was just really adamant about me meeting with you because she knew more about your podcast than I did at the time. And, the way she described it was, if you want to feel seen or heard or tell your, life story or your testimony, that would be the person that I would recommend. And so I hung on to that, and I waited. I waited, not impatiently, but for the right time for it to happen. So I guess it's today. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being here. And I apologize because I know we scheduled you for a while back, and I think I had something come up and we had to reschedule. And I mean, it's a blessing. These are like great problems I have because I'm like booked way out, and we had to set it back like a couple of months.
Yeah.
But I'm so grateful. Like everything happens in, I believe, divine timing, right? Things happen for a reason, and so here we are at the perfect time to be able to share your story.
Absolutely.
Right? And so let's get right into it. So who is Alisha Mello? Tell us your live struggle. Let's dive into your story.
All right. So I'll start just with a very brief beginning because I don't think it's too important going into my story, but it is my background and my upbringing, which was in Fall River, Massachusetts. My father and my mother are both very young. They were 15 years old when they had me. And and complete different cultures. And so at the time, my mom, when she was pregnant with me, when she told her parents, they kicked her out. And my father was a drug addict at the time, so she really didn't have anywhere to go. So she went up to the street to like an orphanage while she was pregnant with me for the whole pregnancy, basically, is what she had just told me recently. I didn't really know too many details, And so just that in itself, growing up in that culture, the Portuguese culture, it was my vovô and my vovô. They kind of all lived in one house, aunts, uncles, and they raised me. It wasn't the best of situation, but I, did receive love. I was taken care of, but, there was things that definitely, followed me through life.
And these are your maternal grandparents on your mom's side?
Mm-hmm. On my dad's side.
On your dad's side, paternal. Okay,
mm-hmm.
Okay. And your dad is Portuguese.
Yeah.
And you said a cultural difference. What?
There was a lot of cultural things, just incest, abuse, alcoholism, addiction, just a lot of just generational things that were just okay. Like just, if I were to say, hey, this, my whoever was touching me, and stuff like that, it was like, oh, well, that just happens. It happens to all of us, and it was just kind of like, to me as a child, it was just normalized. And so I really didn't know up until I did know, which was just very frustrating for me because there was just a lot of adults. And at the time, I didn't really feel like I had the ability to do much about anything. So I just feel like I was thrown around in the system a lot because people didn't know what to do. Like my mom being so young, like I feel like they did the best they could with what they knew and what they had. But it wasn't enough. And they were just listening to the systems that were in place at the time, the doctors, the institutions, you know, medicate her and throw her in this place and try to figure out what's wrong with her now. And, you know, let's, you know, diagnose her, you know, today, and then tomorrow it's a different diagnosis or a different medication. And I feel like I was thrown a lot in the systems, which didn't really give me the ability to really know what the hell was going on. You know, like what's really going on. So, yeah.
So these were the early years you were living with your grandparents.
Yeah. And like throughout that time, my mom took me and my brother in a car, and she drove with like $500 and these two little kids. I think I was like 5. My brother was probably like 2 or 3. And she just drove, and then she started cutting hair, and she wasn't really around much, so they called us like the latchkey kids, just because like we were jumping off the roof onto the trampoline and just kind of doing whatever we wanted because there was nobody around to tell us otherwise.
Yeah.
And so I really acted out a lot. I mean, I went through files and files and files of how misbehaved I was recently, which was really hurtful because just them writing down but not realizing that I was just really hurt. Yeah. And like it was more so like this girl is, you know, misbehaved and troubled and traumatic, and you know, it was just like this belief that was attached to my name. And that's kind of where it took me to, am I going to allow this to affect me regardless of what's attached to my name, or am I going to like make a choice in healing and accepting responsibility for my part, forgiving them, the systems, and then forgiving myself, you know?
Yeah. Because
it really did have an effect on me. And I literally, my mind was broken, and I didn't really know that I was capable again of opening my heart, if it ever even was. But I believe that it's happening, and I'm experiencing it now.
Okay.
You know, I'm on the other side of it now.
So essentially you're saying they were diagnosing and treating all these surface level symptoms, but no one was diving deep into the actual cause.
They knew the cause. I mean, I was very open about it. I was always honest. That's why I feel like I was medicated. And I feel like, you know, not getting to the root of the problem, even though I was expressing it, I had so many perpetrators. I mean, it has happened so many times since the first time that I felt like I would say to my mother, I'm a target. I have a target on my back. It just keeps happening. And it was because I didn't have the chance to heal from the last thing, or process the last thing, or get the right help from the last thing that happened. So it just kept piling up and piling up and piling up.
So what kept happening? Just to be, because we're
trauma.
Okay.
Abuse.
Okay.
And it wasn't even, I was attracting it because I was already a victim, even in my own storyline.
Yeah.
I was already a victim.
Yeah.
So I was attracting predators and perpetrators, literally, and feeling as though like the guilt and the shame that it's like taking it on, you know, as if it was my fault and my problem. And it wasn't just me doing that. It was everybody I know and love that were doing that as well. And still, and it's funny, but because it landed me alone.
Yeah.
But like alone, but I got me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's unshakable and unbreakable. You can't take this. You could take anything, and boy, has it been taken over and over, whether it be my rights, my dignity, anything that I have has been taken over and over, right?
Yeah.
Now, I had the ability to protect myself because I care and I love myself, and I can see the world from a higher perspective where people are all hurt, just trying to figure it the fuck out.
Yes.
You know? And trying to do the best they can with what they have. But I also can, like, not walk into situations, or I am able to walk into a situation and know whether I could just leave and not involve myself at all, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
But I find myself alone a lot because it's difficult to, I don't know, just be in a world where I just feel and see everything differently now. And, like, reconnecting with, like, society has just been different.
I get it. I get
You
it.
know?
I get it. No, absolutely.
It's like, is everybody gonna hurt me? You know? And then you want to be like, rawr, stay the heck away from me. But, like, I'm such a kind and loving person, and I just don't want to be like that. So I decided not to be.
So, okay, I don't mean to pry.
No, you're
I
good.
just
You're
want to
good.
try to fill in some
Yeah.
blanks because we're kind of speaking
Sure.
in a little bit of vague language,
abstract,
right?
sure.
Exactly. So, you kind of lost me for a second because you were living with your grandparents, your dad's parents, and then you said your mom just started driving.
Yep.
Right? So do you mean like you were on the road?
Yep.
You left Massachusetts and you were on the road and she was just like cutting hair in different locations?
Nope, she took us to Florida.
Okay. Straight from Massachusetts to Florida.
Took us to Florida, and I'm glad she did. When she took us to Florida, she... I think we were just kind of, like, moving around a lot. I think that's, like, a lot of my life where I just, like, I was so used to it in the beginning that it's just kind of like it became a pattern of mine just not to stay anywhere for too long. Even if it's, like, built inside of me just to feel like, okay, now it's time to go. But, yeah, we came to Florida and, I was just in, like, say, middle school. I had somebody... walk me from class to class. I was the only kid that had to have that through 6th grade through 8th grade. They called her a mentor because I just colored outside the lines. I mean, what are you going to say? I mean, I was my complete self. I was expressing myself. And I wasn't able to conform or follow the rules because there was no rules. I was so upset and pissed off about everything that has happened previous to that honestly, too, what I was getting in trouble for was just loving. I would show up with roses and stuffed animals and candy and love letters, and I would write, I love Becca and Nikki on one hand and Nick the other day, and, just loving people. But it was overly, because I was overly sexualized at a very young age. So I thought that's how you love people. Therefore, that's what I was showing. And so, at a young age when you're in 6th grade and you're called, like, made to be out as if, like, I'm the sick one, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just a kid, and, like, I'm just thinking, I don't even know. I'm just loving people. This is how it should be. But it really did follow me through life. I mean, it affected me a lot,
So you moved to Florida in 6th grade.
I was about, maybe 4th,
Okay.
5th grade, 6th grade.
And that's where a lot of the institutional drama started.
No, I think... So that's going to be the story that I really want to tell because it's pretty in depth and detail when it comes to the, like, just the... So I'm just going to get into it. So I believe I was in, like, 6th grade, and a girl that I was attracted to at the time invited me after, like, the bus and whatnot. We got off the stop, and she invited me over. She's like, oh, just come over to this house, and... It was, like, a bunch of old dudes. And this guy named Killer. Steve Feltus, he's dead now, but he, had this gray, straggly hair, and they were all, like, rock, people, and...
Like,
and these,
really old dudes? Like, grown-up dudes?
Oh, yeah. And
you're in the 6th grade?
Right.
And she was, too?
Right. And we're over there, and they're smoking crack.
Fuck.
And so... Yeah, I mean, I didn't get the same reaction as anybody, and I don't think I ever did. Like, what happened to me was right off rip, it had control, and I think I was 14, 15, so that's where it started, and, I mean, it took me, it's like...
Smoking crack?
Oh, yeah, and the thing is, the crazy part about that is... the way it happened, because that day when, everybody else kind of went home, right? Yeah, like I was flying around the room, throwing up and whatnot. The guy said, "Oh, just come over. I'll keep, smoking you out or whatever." And I went, of course, whatever. Wherever I can get that stuff again, I'll do whatever it takes. And I did a lot of times. So it really broke me a lot of times to do that to myself continuously.
So from that day on, you kind of like started to have this relationship with these grown ass dudes.
Well, what happened is he kidnapped me. So he made, what happened was, so he kept feeding me this stuff, and he's having me, he's a handicapped guy. He's in a wheelchair. He's having me cook and play with this thing and do whatever it is, all this stuff to him sexually, and he shot me up with crack. He said, "Do you ever shoot up before?" And I said, "Yeah, all the time." And he shot me up, and
so you mainlined crack.
So yeah, so what happened after that is this lady showed up. I remember everything, and I didn't. And
at
so
14 years old.
Yeah. So when after that, what happened was this lady named Church Mouse, who's like was a prostitute or whatever. She came in, and she took off. She smoked. Took off all her clothes, and she said. She looked at me and she said, "What are you doing here? How old are you?" And I said, "I'm 14, I'm smoking crack." She said, "I'm gonna have sex with Steve and you're gonna get the fuck out of here."
She tried to help you. Kinda.
She distracted him and I got out and I didn't even know I was just down the street.
She
was like a week and a half later,
Did you feel like she was there to help? Yeah. Yeah, she was a grown-ass woman with a grown-ass man, and she saw a little girl.
Be just like me in freaking however long. And I ran home, and this is another part of it is when I ran home, I had track marks all around, and I told the complete truth like I always do.
Were you living with him? Were you living with dude?
No.
Or just were going over there?
I got kidnapped 3 times in my life, and that was the first time.
So he had kidnapped you before she got there?
No, well, yeah, because she came in like a week and a half. I was there a week and a half. I didn't even know I was there a week and a half, or little did I know anything.
Or you were staying there for a week and a half, sleeping there every night.
Well, I couldn't get out.
So you went over there to hang out, and he wouldn't let you leave. You're saying? I'm just trying to get context
here. He locked
here.
me in. Yeah, I was locked in a little room, basically just diddling this guy for crack for a week and a half. And I didn't even know where I was or anything by the time that lady told me. She woke me up because when she got there, she was like, "Yo, kid, where's your mom? Like, how old are you? What the hell are you doing?" And then that was my shot to get out of there.
Yeah.
And like I said, I didn't even know I was right down the street in the neighborhood, 5-minute walk.
From your house?
Yeah, I didn't even know. But when I got there, my mom was there, and she Baker acted me just like everything else. So when I got Baker acted, that's when I got introduced to all these NA and all these places and spaces where I have to be now. I have to go to these things and I have to take this medication and I have to and I have to and I have to. Where I didn't even have the choice or the ability to make any decision for myself. And that's where a lot of the anger and just the hurt came from, because I was just like, like screaming and excitement. I ran around high school butt-ass naked. I got expelled and arrested and then went to my mom's wedding and then on an airplane to my father's, all within one day when I was 16, and like it was huge. I ran around high school naked with a tampon string hanging out, shaking my ass, not drunk, not high, traumatized.
Yeah.
Just trying to say, hey, somebody.
Yeah.
And nobody was like, it was just like, put her here, she's the problem. And the thing is, it's like,
nobody was looking at why.
Right, and I was expressing why. And there was a lot of rapes. Even at the high school, I had 5 guys that were in 12th grade that raped me, and I had just got into high school, and I thought to myself, here's a new start. I started wearing girls' clothes. I started feeling all right about myself after everything I said. This is a new start. None of these people know me. I mean, I was already damaged, so people already knew to take advantage of me because I was putting that out, you know what I mean? And it's not my fault or anybody else's, but the point I'm trying to make is, like, that rape in itself and everybody being covered up and living their lives while I suffered and it just being, like, covered up like it was nothing, that affected me. Nobody talking to me about it. nobody really caring to give me enough space to go, you should feel that way, or that was wrong, or maybe you can do this to help yourself, you know? So I just thought, yeah, keep going to NA, even though I hated it and it didn't help me. I still went for 20 years, you know, like on and off or whatever throughout life, thinking that was the only solution when there was just so many other outlets that I never knew was available to me until I did. And that's what I've been embarking upon. Just finding and exploring other alternatives and outlets that I find to help me personally. And they're very different. Very different.
So by them just not caring to even learn why you were acting out and trying to get attention and, you know, like running around school naked, like, and them instead like institutionalizing you, making you go to AA meetings. And that's the whole thing. That completely defeats the purpose, because I've gone to plenty of AA and AA meetings, right? And the whole thing about those meetings is they have to be voluntary, right? When you force them, they lose all their benefit, right? And so it's like, you know, did being forced to do all those things and being forced to take these medications and you know, all these things, like being forced to like almost be brainwashed into believing that there was something wrong with you and maybe not with the home environment and the upbringing and all that, did that cause you to kind of like rebel and jump out there and maybe be right? Because you were telling me.
Yeah, and I just didn't know there was any other option for somebody like me.
So tell us about that. What was that like for you? And what did you jump out there and do, right? If you don't mind going into it, right? Like that brought you through. Because like from everything that I know from your bio, you haven't even touched your rock bottom yet, right? That was like the beginning of the path, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
There's so many rock bottoms that I've dug out so fucking shallow that I couldn't even tell you how many times. I mean, the bottoms that I've reached, I don't know how the hell I've been preserved, but I'm talking, I've walked miles and miles, barefoot, hungry, starving, alone, tired, friggin' whatever. You know what I'm saying? And just to get to a homeless shelter and being like, thank God I can sleep here on the floor tonight and not somebody fucking rape me or it. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever, the police pick me up for no reason other than the fact that I just got nowhere to go and I'm looking a little rough on the edges. You know what I mean? That type of shit. And so it allows me the chance to empathize and with different levels of life and give me that compassion and empathy, which is, you know, part of the reason I do believe all of us go through what we go through, you know, to be able to, you know, share our experiences and then also, you know, serve. I mean, that's always been my heart. But to get myself to a place of mental stability, right? I've come off a lot of freaking antipsychotics in the last year, a lot. My nervous system, my parasympathetic were fried. My brain was fried. I didn't know. I was out of touch with reality. I was in a deep psychosis for so long that what was I really hanging on to? Just the fact there was something other than what I was experiencing, and there wasn't really anything showing me elsewise.
So where did you go after high school? Did you finish high school?
I did. I actually got put, well, okay, so this is messed up, but Adolescent Recovery Center was in Bradenton. So I was told that because of that incident, that I was going to go to jail if I didn't go to a year program.
Because of running around school.
Right, a year. So they told me that, but it was a lie. So I was in there for a year for no reason, other than the fact that, you know,
because like honestly, a juvenile prison, you're saying?
Because
like,
it was horrible.
Was it a juvenile prison? What was it?
No, it's like a adolescent recovery center.
Oh,
so
okay,
like inpatient, whatever.
Okay, like a rehab kind of deal.
Yeah, then like teen challenge, like
residential.
A lot of different like trying to put me in like long term, but I would like escape or like, you know, 4 months into it, or I would complete them even sometimes. I'd complete all these programs and just like still not know how to live because I'd be like, oh, I need to get back to one of those things where they tell me what to do, how to do it, when to do it, and why. Because I just didn't have the skills and the ability to do that for myself.
Because they create you to dependent out of you.
Correct.
They make you dependent. Yeah, that's what institutions do. All the way to the, you know, the highest level of institution to juvenile detention, even in grade school, right? They don't teach you independence. They don't even teach you how to balance a checkbook. They teach you zero life skills.
It's wild.
What do they have? Home ec, and that's like a elective where they teach you how to scramble eggs.
It's
you know
wild.
what I'm saying? And then they expect you to suddenly be able to navigate this grown-up ass that's life.
Right.
Right.
And like what I had, I used. Wow, have I used it? Because when I was 18, I decided, after that, I decided I'm going to go to the military. So I signed up for the Army. I got into the Army, because I did complete high school. I got a good GPA. I got my high school diploma. I said, I'm just going to the Army, get the heck out of here, just so I don't use again and freaking end up on the streets. That was my ticket out. And I went in 2008, and I did really well. I excelled because there was structure. I felt, I was busy, I was safe, I was doing something, and I was, looking forward to, 8 years being enlisted. I was discharged for homosexuality maybe 7 months into it.
Damn.
So I was like, dang, like really nervous to go back to just like life too. Like, and after everything that happened, like I tried to off myself in there because of like a lot had happened in there. I won't get into that personally too much just because. Yeah. No. After that, I did go to nursing school in Massachusetts. And then
So you went back with your dad. Was your dad in Massachusetts?
Well, my dad wasn't in Massachusetts, okay. But his family was there.
Okay, your grandparents.
Yeah, and I was not welcome in my own home at my parents' or whatever, So I said, I'll go to my Vavos and I'll see, how long I can spend there. What can I do? So I went to nursing school because I love people. I want to help and I want to, give care in a safe environment, like without getting attacked for it. And so... yeah, I was there and I did my nursing school. Killed it, dude. And people didn't even speak English. They were speaking Portuguese. I didn't know what the heck was going on. But I figured it out and got my nursing license. Practiced for quite some bit here in Sarasota. Like South Coast nursing.
Oh, yeah.
I did some nursing there and a couple other facilities. And I went to prison not too long after that. And... when I was coerced, like, during that time. Like, I didn't know the law.
So you were in nursing, but did you have, like, a foot in the streets? Or, like, what? Did you have, like, living a double life type of thing? Or, like, what?
No, well, that's why, yeah, because so I was, like, nursing, I guess. And, yeah, I mean, I was in St. Pete. So I was, like, St. Pete Beach. Mm-hmm. And so, I was doing, like, pain pills at the time, okay. Right? And it wasn't like I was taking them from there or anything like that. Yeah, it was just kind of like around, and at the time, that was one of the things that I gravitated towards. And so, yeah, we're shooting Dilaudid and stuff like that. And just a couple police that...
You were banging.
Yeah. Yeah, for a long time. For pretty much, on and off my whole life. Yeah. I got Hep C for a while there, and then I ended up curing myself, and... yeah, I cured myself, and there could have been a lot more other things that could have happened, but, yeah, I was able to cure the Hep C and everything. I don't know, when I went to prison, that took my nursing license, so there goes my second, vision for myself, career-wise. So I was pretty butthurt about that.
So tell us, how did prison happen? What happened? You said you were coerced.
Yeah, this is a really weird one. I haven't really been able to talk about this or... for anybody to take me seriously, because like I said, I had to stabilize myself to even have any credibility whatsoever, or the ability to even talk. But yeah, so yeah, I was at St. Pete Beach, and there's like two cops, like kind of like across the street from where I was staying in my apartment, and they had like track marks on their arms and stuff, so they're like undercovers, and I didn't know anything really, like I said, about this type of stuff. I was pretty naive for a long time.
So they were informants.
Yeah, and they were like, can you help us get some pain meds? And they look really sick, and of course I want to help. But I was like, no. And so they were like, well, we'll give you one for doing it. It's like, okay,
They're so fucking dirty, those motherfuckers.
And so, yeah, I was actually, so I guess what happened was, so I made a phone call. And he gave me one for doing it. He came into my apartment. He gave me one for doing it. And, like, months later, they tried to get me to be, like, an undercover for them. Like, they kind of, like, all put me in a car. These, policemen.
Oh, so you knew they were the police?
No.
So I'm confused. You missed me. You lost me somewhere. So you said they told you, they coerced you into doing it, but at the time you didn't know they were the police.
No.
And you just got them drugs. And then you said they gave you some.
Yeah.
Right? But then you said they wanted you to work with them. So what?
This is like months later. I got a knock on my door. It wasn't even them. It was different police.
Yeah.
That had been like in cahoots, I guess, or whatever.
And
but they wanted names, and I didn't have any names.
Yeah.
I had one black boy that I was dealing with who was like 15 or something. You know what I mean? That somehow was getting them. I don't really know. Like, I wasn't like a big guy or whatever. You know what I mean? I was just trying to use here and there. I was like doing a couple a day or whatever.
But so anyway, they came to pick you up, and
no, they came to interrogate me to tell me if you don't give us names that we're putting you in jail, basically.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah, and they had me in this car, and I was just kind of like really sick about it. And I did at first was like, okay, whatever. I just don't want to go to jail. I don't want to get my license taken. I don't want my life to be taken. So I was like, okay. But they like wired me up and like put me on like a pretty rough side of town, and I was already sweating. I was already throwing up. I was just like nervous as hell. Like, I'm gonna get killed out here, you know. So I just said I decided to take the time, but. During that time, when you go into jail, everybody's like, take drug program. Or
what was your charge?
So that was the thing, is I didn't really have any charge. But because I was already in there, this is the wild part. It was like a, like possession of Dilaudid turned into a sales and delivery of Dilaudid while I'm going through the program, right?
So, because I've been through the system, I know the system very, very well, and they do a lot of fucked up shit, but they always have some bullshit basis to it. So I'm trying to.
They had no bullshit basis. Okay. I just didn't have support or.
Well, they had to have something. So that's what I'm trying to get at. So it sounds to me. It sounds to me like you sold an informant. Yep. And then they came to pick you up. Now you said they didn't come to pick you up. They came to press you. Yeah. But ultimately they come and give you an ultimatum. What they always say, this is the language they use. I've been through this system.
Yeah, but it's all the time is different.
And then they say, I mean,
I don't get. Sometimes I get no freaking rights at all whatsoever.
Well, yeah, they're gonna take advantage of that situation. Totally. But what I'm saying is, like, they had to. So you had a sales and possession of Dilaudid. That's what it sounds like. So right, and or whatever the substance was.
Yeah, it's Dilaudid.
Yeah, so a sales and possession, right? So that sounds like probably what it was.
And it wasn't a sales because I didn't have the Dilaudid.
I know, but that's the dirty game. It's so the big dog never gets fucked up.
Right.
The big dog never gets fucked up. Usually the big dog ends up flipping and then telling on the foot soldiers, right? So the way that it sounds to me, like you set up, whether you were the one. They
just needed somebody to take the fall, which is always me.
Well, that's the whole thing, because the middleman is going to be the fall man, and that's the way the system works. I mean, they created conspiracies and things of that nature, to fuck up the marriage to the mafia, right? The code of silence and everything else. So now all you need is circumstantial evidence, right? And all they need to say is, okay, well, the informant said that she gave me this X amount of times. Well, how many times did you do that? Oh, I did that 2-3 times. Okay, then you get the right. So you see what I'm saying? And all they need.
I mean, it's very always different. I don't trust the law whatsoever. I don't trust anything because it's always different. I mean, I've had so many interactions. I've been pulled out of houses by 12 cops. I've been beat up. I've been raped. I've been thrown in cages and spaces for months at a time with nothing. No, I didn't even have toilet paper or a pen and pencil. I was literally wiping my ass and my period blood with a fucking dirty sock in a cell. Honestly, you know what I'm saying? And that's the type of shit that, like, I was exposed to, and, like, really, like, why, though? Like, I was living in animalistic, like, ways, you know what I mean? And this is just my truth, And, like, I'm not, like, like, I have my, like, stuff or whatever. I'm not innocent, But at the same time, like, yeah, the people that power or have authority or have money or whatever it is, they take advantage of a lot of people, and it bothers me.
Yeah, and so I hope you don't think for 1 second that I'm like trying to justify any action. I'm just trying to figure out the story, right? Because we're kind of all over the place and speaking.
No, I'm pretty clear about my story. I'm very easy to talk to.
No, absolutely. But what I'm saying is, like, how did you end up in prison? That's what I was trying to get at. So they tried to get you to be an informant, and then you didn't deliver, so they stuck you with the charges.
They stuck me with the charges, but I went through a program because they said everybody, everybody in the jail at that time was like, go through drug court. I didn't even know my charge yet. I was sitting there for 30 days, and then I sat there for 7, 8, 9 more months waiting on a drug program that I didn't even need to be in. I could have took the whatever little baby charge.
Was it a state charge or federal?
Nah, at first, I don't even know the details.
Okay.
But what happened was, at the end of the program, I left. I had like a month left or something like that, and I left. So then I was on the run in Georgia, you know what I mean, with this girl. And then when I turned myself in, well, I called my mom and she said, if you turn yourself in, I'll give you $100 on your books every month or every week. She said every week, but every day you don't turn yourself in, I'm taking $100 out that day I turn myself in, because I'm going to be all right if I just go with this. Yeah. So I turned myself in a couple months later, and they slammed me with the first-degree felony because I didn't want to go through another fucking program. Yeah. And you know what I mean?
So you went to state prison?
Yeah, I went to state prison. I went to Lowell CI. It was awful.
Okay. How much time did you serve?
Altogether, it was like 2 years and 7 months.
2 years and 7 months, day for day. So what was that like?
Humiliating. I mean, it was awful. It was degrading. It was animalistic. It was abusive. It was... I had to be somebody that I wasn't. It's not like that's new to me. Yeah. There's so many versions of me that I had to integrate in order to like be who I am now, right? Yeah. And it's still continuously ongoing. It's forever always going to. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't myself. I felt like I had to, you know, act very strong and tough, but stay out of the line of fire, which I'm not really good at. And I got humiliated a lot because I'm a happy, loving person. They don't like that. So
Do you mean the guards or the guards? Okay. More so from the guards than the actual inmate population, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I can relate.
I've never been in a fight. It was more so like them humiliating me for sure. Like they would do shit like you know, bring me out in the like cold and rain and then be like, you see this little pebble? Go fetch it with your mouth and bring it back. And if not, you're going to 90 days in lock by yourself.
Yeah, the state joint is fucking terrible.
So like sure. I would do it, right? Which is like really shitty, but it's like way better than being alone in a fucking cell with your, just like, you know, like how it feels so much longer than it is too.
So did you do like in that time, right? Because, you know, I did time. And for me, you know, it was a horrible place, horrible conditions, everything else.
Yeah.
But like I kind of found myself in there and I found my healing and all of that. Did you have any of that, or did that all come later?
I feel like I wrote a lot in there and like I connected with God because you don't have anything else. But I also like was like talking to myself all the time and like writing on the walls with my nails and shit, you know, like weird shit that you don't have anything else to do. You try to sleep as much as you can. And anytime you get anything for food, it's like the highlight, right? Because that's all you got. But they just shove it through a little, you know, give you utensils, no nothing or whatever. That type of thing was tough on me, you know. But I did come out of that like several times, you know.
So what year did you come home?
Huh?
What year did you come home?
2013.
Okay. And then what?
And then I started going to trade school, like a lot of different trade schools, like SCTI, P-Tech. I took like AC, electricity, masonry, carpentry, plumbing.
Just trying to figure it out.
Yeah. You know, and like in between, I was in St. Pete, so I was on the pretty rough side of like Child's Park, you know, just kind of getting torn up and then like coming out of it and just getting healthy for like another 2 months so that I could go back out.
So you were still on drugs when you got out?
Yeah, like I would have, you know, 6 months. It started like dwindling. I could get like 6 months. 4 months was like my mark where I'm just like, it was always like 4 months where I'm just like, I just gotta use, no matter the situation. And I think it was just like stuck in me where it was just like, I had to have it. I felt like it was like a beast that needed to be fed.
Well, that's how addiction works, right?
You know?
Yeah.
No matter what it took or whatever.
It is like a beast.
Totally. It's like an attachment in itself. It wasn't even, you know, me.
Exactly. It's like a demon.
It's tough.
Right?
Yeah.
A djinn. Right? A whole ass insatiable motherfucking monster.
Yeah. It really is.
So.
It took a lot from me.
Where do we go from here?
So I just had like a lot of odd jobs here and there and stuff like that. I got into I ended a 10-year like relationship and came to Sarasota, got into a halfway house and did well. I mean, I was on medications at the time. I was like participating in life and family, and I had like this woman that I loved. I mean, I didn't know I was capable of loving someone else, so it meant a lot to me to even know that I had the ability to. But I lost myself in it. You know, she had kids, she had a family, she had 10 years in recovery. Like, she had her whole life, but I was just starting out, so I took on hers. I put all my eggs in the basket, man. I says, I'll take care of your kids, I'll take care of the kids' kids, the cats, everybody in the neighborhood, everybody, because I got this. And I lost myself completely. So when that ended, after, 4 years of being with her, it was all gone. I mean, I had business that I, was running. I was doing so well for myself, like, for years in a row.
What kind of business?
Just some, like, pet sitting and, like, house cleaning and, a little bit of grooming and stuff like that. But, yeah, when that fell apart, it kind of was like, that was the beginning of my transformation. Transformation.
Yeah.
And just, like, the healing journey.
So, do you had like an epiphany when that relationship ended? You kind of had to like take another look at yourself because you had abandoned yourself. Is that what it was?
Absolutely. And then realizing that I had abandoned myself, throughout life. You know what I mean? Just not even acknowledging, the child within, and just realizing that I needed to give myself that space, that time, to heal and give myself grace, because of my specific life path that I've lived. It was hard from the expectations of just like society or a mother or a friend or just anybody. So that's the only way I could do it, was to completely be in solitude, because nobody would have understood really what I was going through. And I tried to make sense of it. Even myself, it didn't make sense.
Yes.
So I was like trying to find the words, and I was really putting it out there as much as I could as I was going, trying to figure it out. Like, this is what I'm learning today. This is how, I'm getting through this or whatever. And it was like every belief, every thought, every pattern, I was like excavating it to be able to make room for the new.
Yes. So that's when it started. The end of that relationship was a birth of a new relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So was there some like aha moment, some epiphany, or like what was it? What was the turning point?
So I was totally broken, not just brokenhearted, but like spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, just all the ways. And met a woman who, her name was Sherry, and she she had all these things going when it came to modalities that I have never heard about. When it came to yoga, meditation, Ayurveda, she was teaching me how to cook, how to take care of myself, like all these things. So
how did you connect with this woman?
Tinder.
Okay, so it was actually like a date.
Yeah.
Okay.
But moved in with her, and I was just a wreck, and I was bleeding all over her. And like, it was very obvious and aware, and I was taking from her life that she had, she had so much going for her. And so I got in my Nissan one day and left. And I just started driving the United States by myself. Didn't think it was even possible for me to do, because I'm 100% mentally disabled, right? I'm traumatized as hell. Never taken care of myself by myself. Never been out of state. You know what I mean? And know how to deal with life and people. So I drove across the United States, and when I came back, I said, I'm going to choose myself, and I'm going to keep choosing myself. And that's kind of just the journey that I've been on since then. Where it's just like, even though, the relationship, the cats, or the job, or whatever it was, it just became a 24/7 hour job to heal.
Beautiful. But so a lot of it came from this woman that you were dating.
She taught me a lot.
Beautiful. Are you still connected to her in any way? But I know you remember her.
Yeah.
Right? And in a positive light, it seems.
Absolutely.
Right? Absolutely. That's
and I feel like that
thing.
about all of the, just experiences now.
Yeah.
Just in general. You don't always see it like that until you do.
Yeah.
But it definitely was to learn.
And I think it takes a lot for a person to, kind of put the ego aside, especially like when a relationship doesn't work, and to reflect back on the positives, right? Because so often people may have like a bad experience in the relationship, one bad experience, but overall there were a lot of healthy, beautiful things.
Totally.
But then they get hung up on that one thing where the relationship doesn't work, and then what that does is it starts this whole villain narrative where you start to, remember every imperfection of that person, right? And you didn't say any of that at all. You talked about how incredible this woman is, how much she had going on, and how much she shared with you. And to me, that says a lot about you and your character and your integrity, because you didn't have to say all good things. I'm sure there's something in there why it didn't go well. We don't need to even talk about that. But I just want to acknowledge the fact that you stepped away from that with grace. You honored and respected everything that you learned from this woman, and you took that and you built on it in your own way.
Yeah, she was like a catalyst to like an awakening, perhaps, because she showed me so many things. She brought so much into my world where I was like, all this is like, was here the whole time? Like, I was like so upset and also like in love with her for just being able to show me, but knowing I wasn't in a place to be able to even offer that was like me leaving and realizing that was the best for the whole entire situation. Even it was the hardest thing I could have ever absolutely done. Yeah. And knowing it was for the best for both of us helped me grow a lot.
Beautiful. So this is the person that put you on the path to get Reiki certified, right? To start working on your sound healing certification. Yeah. Right?
She's a big motivator,
and all these incredible spiritual modalities that you've adapted, or I should say adopted for yourself, and that you're sharing with other people now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Totally.
So let's talk about that. Tell us about some of the things that you've learned that have helped you that you're now using to help other people.
Sure. So breathing, like any type of mindful breath work, has been huge for me. Grounding, but definitely breath work, pranayama, yoga. It's been huge. And also, I've even like had like times where I would like listen to certain people where they would just like repeat like really positive stuff to like, take away whatever was in my mind before, and it's been like replacing it. But I think also eating healthy, like finding ways and means to really put meals together was a big turning point for me.
Yeah.
And taking my health seriously at all, pushing myself to get out, and step outside even was tough for me in the beginning, just those little basics of just taking care of myself. But it started out with just walks out in nature.
Grounding.
Focused breath work and grounded. And a lot of emotional releasing, because I would find myself a lot of physical pain. I was just riddled with it. And so I would like find myself just like all of a sudden just crying and just like finding myself in whatever position and just like telling my body, you can release whatever this is. And I would just put it into Mother Earth and just allow Mother Earth to like take it and transmute it. And believing in alchemy and knowing that we have the ability to do that, I think just makes it that much more, have that much more intention. And I do believe whatever we believe will be, or it's our reality. That's why it's just like so many different perspectives of life, because we each experience so many different things, in life to really have us believe what we believe.
And those perceptions become our reality.
Totally. So I do find like life reflecting differently outside of me now that I have done some healing, just with the way people treat me. Because I treat myself, with respect, and I have boundaries. People are also like that with me. That was not the case even just recent, like a year or two ago. I mean, there's just people just, blatantly, because that's how I was teaching people to treat me. Not even being aware of it, right? So, I don't know. I think that was a huge thing that I just wanted to make sure I added in there.
Absolutely.
Because different frequencies and different situations are finding me now, or just kind of like unfolding around me.
In a positive light.
Yeah, in a positive light.
Because you changed your perception.
Because I changed my perception.
And now you've shifted your reality.
Yeah.
You've taken control.
Yeah, and like how I react, because like I could see, things differently. Yeah, I could see things differently, and it did have to do with just me facing myself and just even talking to myself out loud was huge. I'd be walking around talking to myself out loud, like stopping, a thought from coming in, like, no, that's not true. This is actually the truth. You're right here, right now. That situation doesn't exist anymore. You're in a whole different situation, you know?
Yes.
And it's just, it was a lot of stuff pulling into, and that separation allowed me the space and the opportunity to really create some new thoughts, new goals, new morals, you know?
A new life.
New life.
Yeah.
And it's just beginning.
Yeah.
So it's really
That's
fresh.
the beauty
And
of it.
it is still a little bit uncomfortable, but I'd rather face that versus go through anything that I've ever been through ever again.
You know, I am a person that I'm not, people think I'm like inherently this positive person because I teach yoga, I try to share inspiration, but people don't realize the struggle that I could go through day to day, dealing with my own demons and negativity and programming that I work really hard to undo, you know. And one thing that I've adopted, so to speak, like even before I went away to prison, like I did a lot of my healing in prison, and I took what I learned in there, you know, to similar to your you know, experience in terms of you learning things that helped you share with other people. That's something that I can relate to, right? But what I want to share is like one thing I've always done, ever as long as I can remember. You know, is the whole concept of like positive reinforcement, right? Because sometimes life just throws things at us, and you know, the conditioning of the mind, the media, the social pressure, everything, it's so easy to default to negativity, to default to fear, right? And so myself personally, like I constantly have to combat that with you know, positive reinforcement. And a big part of that for me are quotes. Like I used to have a vision board. Now my vision board is kind of in a folder, but I got this whole huge thick folder just full of quotes. Full of quotes. And I'm sharing that to tell you that there's one quote that sticks with me all the time. It's your world. Shape it or someone else will.
Oh, I like that.
Right? And that's the whole thing. It's like you've had all these other people that have demonstrated that they don't care about you. They're treating you like a statistic. They're treating your symptoms, not even giving two fucks about the cause, not trying to dive any deeper, trying to pass you on to other institutions and other professionals, right? But all the while they're shaping your world.
Right.
And you just are having to take on every role assigned to you.
Right.
But then in meeting this woman and finding these modalities and learning about the power of the mind and the incredible, like infinite power of the universe, you've learned to shape your own world. Right?
Yeah.
And so a big part of this podcast is I like to give people their flowers. Right, metaphorically speaking, right? So I just want to give you your flowers, Alisha, because you've been through all these things. Right, I know, you know, I've been through some things myself, and then I've known a lot of people, all different walks of life, and so many times you hear people that haven't even been through a fraction of what you've been through, and they use that as an excuse to be a fucking shitty person. Right, just a shitty fucking person, right? Because this happened to me. Like you were saying, you figured this out from a young age. When you start to identify as a victim, now you start to attract victim stances, I call them. Yeah. Right, and so it's like you overcame all of that. You stepped out of that victim place. You stepped out of those circumstances. You've shaped your own world consciously, and the most beautiful part about it all is you're taking what's helped you and you're sharing it with others. And I'm not just taking your word for it. Since you reached out to me, I now follow you on social media. I can see your posts. You post a lot. Yeah. And but I'm not saying that your posts are beautiful. Every single post you make is for the collective. Every single effort that I see you make online, you're sharing your experience, but you're sharing it from a place of being helpful, helping others. You're talking about unity, community, the collective, right? And I think that's just a beautiful thing coming from where you've come from, what you've gone through, and the fact that you're able to have this rebirth, this new life that you're shaping every single day, and you know, helping other people along the way. So you know, much respect I appreciate you and the energy that you share and all the gifts that you share.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for sharing your story on this platform, and thank you for everything that you share in the universe every single day with your posts and everything else. So that said, tell the audience more about what you offer, right? And maybe what you intend to offer. Now, keep in mind this isn't gonna be broadcasted for a little while,
Sure.
right? Well, but anything that promote yourself, right? Your services, right? Any call of action, right, that you have for the audience. Tell the people what you do, how they can find you, how they can connect with you.
Yeah, so I'm in a place now where it's just me, and I don't really have too many responsibilities when it comes down to it. I just started OWR, which is Operation Warrior Resolutions. It's a program. It'll be my second time in it, where we're working with horses and like PTSD and autism and emotional regulation. BBT, which is brain-based therapy. It'll be my second time going through that as well. And I'm trying to learn that, therefore, that, I can kind of also learn and educate myself and then perhaps also become a leader in that kind of direction. I took a position with Florida beach horses, which is great because the other day I was just holding on to a horse's tail and it was swimming in the water. And I thought to myself, well, I've never been a leader in a leader position. And all these kids, they're all leaders. I mean, they're the guide, right? And that's a leadership position. So I thought to myself, well, let's go slow with these little things that are kind of new to me versus just like jumping right in and being overwhelmed and just saying, forget about it. So I took this position. I just thought to myself, this is like a bucket list kind of job, man. So I just want to have a good time, like in the sense of like being safe and just like enjoying life. And I've managed to kind of find like the balance in doing so, which is, it has a lot to do with horses, which is interesting. But so like my vision is to work with like animals and, therapy, and then having that, also incorporated with people. I've seen different instances where they have like, I've done yoga, elephant yoga a couple times with one of my good friends, and you're not like with them in the same, but they're like right there and there's a fence. It's pretty dope. And so they got lemurs and all kinds of different things.
Yeah.
But the direction I'm trying to kind of taking right now is during the time of my just like the trip across the United States, I was learning a lot about sustainable living, like farming, just like off-grid living, man. Like people just coming together, communal living, having the ability to live off the land. I just thought was really cool. Everybody had like their own skill they were contributing. And so, even in the direction of volunteering, I mean, I have my van. I'm about to try to kind of make it into like a living situation because the van alone is like wicked expensive. And I'm like, no, I might as well just live out of it. And I'm pretty easy, like when it comes to that, like simple living. Especially after everything, it's like a van's great. It's got heated seats and, everything. I got a little bed back there. I said, so I'm looking to just offer my services when it comes to healing, Reiki, and incorporating the sound healing. I have like tuning forks that I've been practicing with, like a few different roommates of mine. One has had diabetes type 1. He was just really going through it physically and everything. And, I started practicing on him and seen a difference. Same with my mother and my aunt. So I thought to myself, yeah, I mean, it's also helped me, the tuning forks, some of the sound baths and such. I don't currently have it all together when it comes to providing the services, with a card and everything like that yet. I'm kind of taking it as it comes because I would really like to incorporate the yoga too, and that's going to be like in August, where I'll finish that in August.
The yoga teachers training.
Yeah, dude.
Congrats, yeah.
And I think that's also going to help me kind of level out and connect with the community that's, also just being really healthy. And, coming out of like the solitude that I was in, it's going to be really important for me to do that. And that'll be like my next step. And yeah, it's not like a clear thing, but I'd be willing to like be like a traveling healer out of my van, like a Heyoka healer or something.
Okay.
Where I'm just like going from to home to home, and I mean even by donation. I'm not really interested in making a bunch of money. I mean, I want to love people, and I want to do it just in a way that doesn't hurt me.
And you're doing it, Alisha. You're doing it. So I hope you're proud of what you're doing, because you should be.
And I am, And it's like, being emotional was another thing where it was just like, you need to medicate or you're emotional, but like I have so many fucking reasons to be emotional. You know what I mean? Like, and for hiding it and holding it in for so many years, like, I'm always like, is this gonna end? Is it gonna stop? But it's part of it. You're supposed to feel, and I'm actually all right with it now,
But it's real, it's raw, and it's authentic.
Yeah.
And that's the frequency that resonates. You shouldn't
or be anybody I'm not ever again.
You shouldn't have
for
to.
Anybody.
And you shouldn't have to deal with anybody that requires that. And you won't have to, because you're shaping your world. You're doing it on your terms.
Yeah.
Right? And if I could give you any advice, unsolicited, the best advice, some of the best advice, I've got some pretty incredible advice over the years, but some of the best advice that somebody ever gave me, shout out to my bro Paul, you know who you are. Keep your hand on that motherfucking pressure point, Alisha.
Right.
You know what I'm saying when I say that?
Yeah, I do actually.
You got momentum. You're doing amazing. Yeah. So keep it. You know what I mean? And now I said, I know you said like you're not all organized in the sense that you got business cards and whatnot. But if you're in a position to offer services, offer healing, tell them how they could find you.
Coaching, mentoring, if you want somebody to talk to help you get through some of the thoughts and emotions, or emotional regulation, or just somebody to breathe with, meditate with, I mean, listen to, or, if I'm here to listen, I'm here to hug you, whatever it takes, and you can find me on, Facebook, Alisha Mello, ALISHAMELLO. I do have an Instagram that is kind of like out of use, I don't know, but it's Sacred Flame Unchained. And I mean, I'm not gonna give my number.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't expect you to. I just wanted to make sure that if anyone's interested or they want to connect, right, that they knew how they could connect with you.
Absolutely.
Right. Because I want to promote you. I want to promote your services. You found all these incredible modalities. You've adopted those into your life, and you're sharing those with others. So that's what this platform is about. It's about giving your gifts to the world before it's too late. I celebrate people and their passions, and I give people their flowers. Right. That's what we do. So it's like I want to make sure that we perpetuate this.
And I really have like the time, the space, the energy, the capacity to really offer, a lot. I've gained a lot of, wisdom and knowledge and perspective, and have overcome and gotten through a lot. And I do want to share that,
Yes.
That's where my heart is at. And, even not even knowing how to necessarily go about it has been a thing. But I'm open, I'm open to it, and just wanting to help. And I think that's with all of us. I think that's all underneath all the pain. That's the natural human desire, when you uncover everything, it's just really wanting to, love and help. And, I'm there. I'm still sensitive. I'm still messy. I'm not very organized. I have a lot of, quirks and things to still work through and work on. I'm in progress, and, but I'm in a good place and space to be able to, offer my help in any way that I can.
And so, you said all these things about not being organized, not being all these things, not being all these things, but you are honest and you are authentic. And that's the frequency that resonates. And that's what the world needs the most. So I appreciate you bringing that authenticity onto this platform.
Thank you.
Thank you. So do you have any call to action, any closing remarks that you want to share with the audience?
Call to action. I mean, I believe us all kind of coming together, no matter our differences, where we're from, what our backgrounds is, how much money you got, what you look like. I mean, I really believe that, souls are coming together in the, it's like a revolutionary time where we actually are going to need to in order to continue. And I do believe it starts with just organizing little groups of people and doing healthy things, and it's happening everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, finding that group and getting and becoming a part of it, and so, I mean, I'm always thinking about finding land and just sustainably living off of it, just because the systems, I don't necessarily, I can't see myself really just working a regular job, which bugs me a lot, but I feel it's a call to time where we just kind of come together as humanity and unite as one, no matter our differences, and look past them and find each other's skills and what we each can contribute for the greater purpose of all humanity, because the systems are crumbling and there's new innovations and so many creative people that have so many experiences that we should all really start contributing with each other.
And we need each other more than ever right now.
Totally.
Yes.
I agree.
I always ask everybody this question.
Yeah.
What does legacy mean to you?
Ooh, legacy. Legacy is something that we each build for ourselves that we get to, live and leave, for the next generations to come, through our experiences and what we learn and what we do with what we learn matters.
Yeah.
It's like a ripple effect. It's like pay it forward or whatever. Yeah. It's really like a domino thing. So, I feel very underground. I always did. I'm, in these little, pockets of wherever I feel I'm guided to on a daily basis. And, I'll find myself making connections with, this, real quick, this guy named Joe. Met him at Marina Jack's, about 85 years old. He's a Polish guy. They crushed his boat. He was living off of it. It's, his last days because it didn't pass a propulsion test or something. So I saw him and his feet were swollen. I said, hey, wake up. I said, your feet are swollen. You're all right? He said, nobody cares about my feet. I said, well, I do. And he started talking about, well, we all need to come together and unite. And I said, you're on my level. And I brought him to go look, at a boat. And I spent the day doing that, And he's like, we could play music together. I make a couple $100. I'll break you off $100. I mean, this is a stranger. He's wanting to give me $100 fucking bucks to drive him to, to play his music. And he's talking about uniting in love and all this stuff. That I was just like, those kind of interactions throughout the day kept me going throughout this entire life. And means everything to me, just different levels of just life,
The ripple effect.
Yeah.
I love that. That's legacy. The ripple effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Totally. Yeah.
And thank you for being you, Alisha.
Thanks, Michael.
Keep your hand on that motherfucking pressure point.
I will.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story.
Absolutely.
Alisha Mello, young.
Hey.
It's Live Struggle Legacy. If you haven't already done so, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, that like button, that notification button. Drop a comment. If you have a question for Alisha, drop it in the comment section. Start a conversation. If you're listening on a streaming platform, please make sure you hit the follow button. Download, save, hit the notification bell, rate us. If you're looking to promote your business, holler at me. We're looking for sponsors. Make sure you go check out the website at livestrugglelegacy.com for all the latest news, music, podcasts, and merch. I appreciate y'all checking in. It's Live Struggle Legacy. We building pyramids. Thank you so much.